There's a hippie inside of us all, and our job is to keep him at bay. Yes, he will never go away, and will never give up, but will always try to persuade you into doing what he wants. But our responsibility is to hold him at bay. And today I will show you how. First, we have to understand our enemy. This voice. It is the voice of sin, sloth, of self-destructiveness. Think really hard on the desire that is calling to you right now. Is it the voice of smoking weed or playing video games and getting caught up into something that will make you forget about the responsibilities and hardship of life? Whatever calls out to you, it wants you to turn away from your higher purpose of life. And this thing is noticed very, very abruptly when you first get on self-improvement, when you are handed some fundamental things to change the way you're living. And now you are battling your old voice, your old self, because we go upon our lives almost unconscious. Before self-improvement, we thought eating cereal all day was good, watching TV all day, playing video games, that there was no bad habits in our life. But then when we were abruptly hit, we were told that the life that we were living is wrong. And yes, it was. So now it speaks in retaliation. And to combat this, we have to have mindfulness. Mindfulness of this voice and finding a way to title it and make fun of it. The voice I speak about is the version of yourself that says, let's stay in bed longer. Or you know what, let's play video games all day. This voice is generally at a moderate level for you to listen to it enough. Enough that you can't be consistent with your progress. And as I said with self-improvement, we start to really question who we are listening to. Has it been the voice that has been guiding us to a misfortune, an unhappy life? Or will it be this new, improved self that we have to go out of the way to listen to? This analogy might be funny, but we really do have to title it. Because you might say, this kind of sounds like schizophrenia. But is there not a higher and a lower to yourself? There has to be, because there's days that you do nothing and there's days that you make great progress. So you have to title a version of this, and we'll get into this a little bit more later. But give it a name. Call it Chud, call it Jeffrey, call it Joe. Anything you can do to start titling and realizing if you listen to Joe, you are going to go deep and deeper into your bad habits and get more depressed. So you have to listen to the higher version of yourself. And the more you do the more you do the good habits, the quieter that voice gets, because you are literally breaking down the continuation of a lifestyle. So obviously it's gonna have its power taken away. But it loves when you fail. It loves when it gets acted upon, because then it has a reason to speak up. You start listening to it. But if you start to win and you start to do the hardship, that voice will get extremely quiet. And mind you, this voice is the one that we've been listening to when we relapse, when we fail, and we decide to do the easy things. So be mindful of who you're listening to right now. Next is decisions over emotions. Decisions over emotions plays into the fact that who have you been listening to? Is it the version of yourself that is going after the dreams, or is it that chud that is telling you to eat nothing but junk food and do nothing? So to initially combat this is we have to make decisions to our lives so we can go about and slowly change our subconscious, because we can't trust it right now. If we go to our subconscious and just try to live in a flow state, we're going to be nothing but losers, because that's what we've been for the past years. And I remember a perfect example is I would go to the gym and I'd like to talk to girls. I'm a young man. That is something I would love to do. I would go to the gym with a little thought of like, you know what? I would love to talk to a pretty girl today. I'd go in there, stretch, Maybe I'd see someone in the stretching area and I'd just be like, well, I'm stretching, I don't want to go talk to her. And then I'm starting to work out, get a few sets in, starting to get serious. I'd see another pretty girl. You know what, I'm a little too serious right now. I can't go talk to someone. A few more sets, 40 minutes in, I'm sweating, I stink, and I'm like, you know what, I can't talk to someone. I'm too stinky, sweaty, and I'm just too pumped up. You know, I better just go do my cardio. And I'm on the Stairmaster. There's a pretty girl to the left of me. Nah, I just better focus. I don't want to disturb her. Notice who I'm listening to. I'm listening to myself in the very moment that is deciding to choose upon comfort. So something I started to combat that, because I would go in there over and over again thinking, oh, I'm going to go talk to girls. I'm going to go talk to new people. But I never did it. And then I had to make the decision in stone that I would say, I'm going to the gym today. I am talking to a girl. I am not leaving the gym until I talk to a girl. And sometimes, yes, I would leave and I beat myself up, which was needed. But most importantly, I gave myself a incentive that I needed to listen to a voice, a decision that was predetermined by a higher self. And then I went and actually go talk to girls. I did the same thing with my lifestyle. Every night before I go to bed, I make decisions of what I'm doing tomorrow, so I don't listen to the natural voice that might be some skewed emotion of let's go do what's safe. Let's go be a loser. And it's really easy to fall back on them. So that's why we make the decisions preemptively to be a better version of ourselves. And another thing is we always have to accept that this version of ourselves, this lower version, whatever you've named him, is always going to be around. I heard an analogy that it's like a roommate that never leaves. And why we give him a funny name, why we pick apart our thoughts about him, is because he will always be there. And you get to the point that he'll speak to you like, oh, there's someone you know, we better not go talk to them, it's going to be weird and awkward. And then you're hiding around a corner and you think, what the fuck am I doing? I'm being a loser. I'm like hiding because I don't want to have a social interaction with like an old boss. And then you walk behind the corner after thinking about that you just listened to your pathetic roommate up here, and you go face the reality. Like you start to make fun of him and you beat him up. You beat up that loser fucking roommate. But unfortunately, he'll always be a part of ourselves. And you have to accept the desire of comfort will meet you. And it will usually meet you at your most lowest points, the most stillest points of your life. That's usually when we make mistakes. There's a saying, the devil likes stillness, because that's when temptation comes into our lives. When we have nothing going on, we completed all of our workouts, our work, our whatever, and it's getting late, we have nothing to do, and you're like, yeah, let's go watch some TV, let's go goon. And we listen to that roommate. Because when we beat him up and when we listen to our higher selves and really change who we are, there will always be that whisper. And when it's really quiet, you hear those whispers. And if you don't acknowledge it right away, like the prior steps, is he will slowly get louder and louder and you'll listen to him more and more. But something just like the desire, and maybe this is truly his identity, is loud cars, huh? No matter with the desire, it will never go away. The more we try to refuse or rebuke a desire, the louder it gets, the harder it is to fight. So something I found is meditation. You don't even need to close your eyes for this. You just take some deep breaths. And you truly feel where this desire is coming from. Why do you want to go lay in bed and scroll? Why do you want to cower it away? Why do you want to act upon a bad habit? And it just comes down to the self-acknowledgement. And this is almost the same battle as lust. Because you can transform this hippie that is inside of you and actually act upon it in a healthy manner. You will have that desire, that slothful desire to go to the beach, to sit on the beach like a hippie, have a drink, have a smoke, and relax. But you still have all those responsibilities if you were to do it right now. But what if you made it? What if you became so successful you had the time to spare to act upon your hippie self? And you dip into it once in a while and became comfortable with it. But it might take some hard work to get there, because it's just like lust. You can act upon it now. But if you don't throw it away in a spasm of, well, if you don't throw it away in a spasm, you can actually use that energy towards your goals. So I hope this video helps with understanding that there's a hippie inside of us and we're all freaking beach bums, but reality calls us to do other things. But hopefully you can understand that this correlates to self-improvement when it comes to listening to a higher version of yourself and going out there and doing the hard work. Don't listen to that loser, for it has never gotten you anywhere. I'm Maxwell. I appreciate if you like and subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video.